Hi, my name's Nicole. Today I'm here to talk about emergency preparedness and emergency first aid. Parents may not think that young children or preschoolers know much about basic first aid or how to act in an emergency, but put a child's doctor kit in their hands and be marveled at what they already know about boo-boos, fevers, and urgent situations. Today, let's spend a few minutes identifying an emergency situation and a few simple things we can do. That means you kids. Be ready. You'll need a partner for some of these activities. The three situations we are going to prepare for are earthquakes, if someone is unconscious, or if someone is bleeding. But first, let's talk about earthquakes. In the San Francisco Bay Area, we especially need to be prepared for earthquakes. Some earthquakes are small and we can hardly feel them. Others feel like really big shaking, almost like trying to walk on a rug when somebody's trying to pull it. So what do we do when one happens? We'll talk about two things to do and practice one of them. If you are outside, go to an area away from a building. Most injuries from earthquakes happen because people run outside and then they're hurt by breaking windows, collapsing walls, and flying objects. So, the safest place is still inside. If you are inside, where do you think we should go? Come on, you just guess. I can't hear you. Huh. If you said under a table or another sturdy piece of furniture, you are right. Let's see how well I can practice getting under a table. Then you try. Whew, I did it. Okay, now you try. I'll give you a moment to find a table and practice getting in a safe place. Wow! Now that you know if you're outside during an earthquake, the safest place to be is away from a building. And if you are inside, the safest place is under a table or a sturdy piece of furniture. Good job! The next thing we'll talk about is fainting. Well, so what does fainting look like? Go ahead, you say it out loud. I'm listening. Did I hear you say it's like when someone is sleeping and you can't wake them up? You're right. It's when you can't wake someone up. There are three things that we can do though. We should call for help by dialing an emergency phone number 911 on a phone. We should NAP, no, not take a nap. We should give our name, address, and phone number. And we should stay with our friend and do what the person on the phone says to do. Okay, kids, here's where we need help from our partners, and if we have an old phone or a cell phone that we can take the battery out of. We don't want to dial for emergency help by mistake. I'll give you a moment to look for a pretend phone and a parent or friend that we can practice with. Okay, I'll practice first with my assistant bunny, Peter. Peter! Peter, wake up! Wake up! Okay, now is the right time to call for help. I'll dial 911 with my phone. Okay. I dialed 911 on my phone. I'll give my NAP. My name's Nicole. My address, it's 100 Safety Way in San Francisco. My phone number, it's 1-800-222-1222. I'm gonna wait for directions from the emergency helper. Stay with my friend till an ambulance comes? Okay, and I'll place my friend in the recovery position. Okay, now you try. I'll give you a few moments to practice. So you tried to wake up your partner, you called 911, You gave your NAP and you listened for directions. Good job! Now that you're a pro with earthquakes and fainting, let's think about what we should do if you or a friend is bleeding. There are a couple of steps to do for stopping bleeding, but before we get started, let's talk about blood. Sometimes it might be scary to see your own blood or someone else's. It's okay to be frightened, but don't panic if you get blood on your hands. If you're helping a friend, it's important to stay calm so your friend won't be scared. Okay, let's talk about what we should do if someone is bleeding. Get your friend to press on the cut with their hand. If your friend can't stop the bleeding, press with your hand on the wound. If possible, cover your hand with a plastic bag or a glove. Try to find a towel or paper towels, a scarf, even a t-shirt to press on the wound. Try to raise up the part of the body that is injured to slow the bleeding. If your friend can move themselves, let them. You wouldn't want to be pulled on if you could move on your own. Don't lift if it hurts too much. Something could be broken. Or if the blood is showing through the towel, just put another one on top. Don't remove the soak ones though, because it could make it bleed more. When the bleeding stops, keep the towel in place and go get help. Send someone around you or dial 911 like we practiced earlier. If you are able to send for help, stay and talk with your friends so they won't be scared. If possible, wash your hands to keep germs out of your friend's cut and wash your hands with soap and water after helping your friend to keep yourself safe. It's very unlikely that this will cause you to be sick, but if you are worried about it, talk to your doctor. Okay, let's put it all into practice. I'll try first, but you watch closely because you get to try after me. My friend Peter needs help and he can't hold the cut by himself. I'll place a plastic bag on my hand and press hard with a paper towel. I'm holding his arm up to slow the bleeding. I'll wrap an additional towel around the wound and then I'll call for help. Good. Help is on the way? Okay. Thanks. And I'm going to stay with Peter so I can comfort him just a little bit. Peter's doing great. Now you and your partner try with a pretend cut. If you don't have a towel close by, just use your hands to apply pressure. Good job! You held the wound, you stopped the bleeding, you called for help, and comforted your friend. Wow! Now we've looked at 3 situations that we're able to help out in an emergency. Prevention, of course, is the best medicine, but knowledge and repetition of first aid skills not only helps us to be aware of dangerous situations and reduce the likelihood of an injury, but help us to have instant recall of the skills we have internalized, just when we need it. Perfect for kids of all ages. Okay, let's see just how much we remember. Click on the link below to answer a few questions and test our first aid skills. Following the quiz are a few links to helpful guides specifically for children in emergency preparedness and first aid. So, let's be prepared.